The people I love the best jump into work head first without dallying in the shallows and swim off with short strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves, an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row and pass the bags along, who are not parlour generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in and the fire put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Blotched, it smears the hands and crumbles to dust. But a thing worth doing, well done, has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amorse for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries out for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
We know that how you talk about work to a junior and senior in high school has changed. So we really wanted to make sure that all the language in the way we communicated with the students said that coming here isn't just about work. We're not just a work college. We are a liberal arts college that has a work program. It has its sense of place that's rerouted initially in the mountains, certainly Appalachia. The soul is community. The soul is people gathering on this land and in this place to pursue education. We attract a number of students because of location, because we do have a working farm. We do have 600 acres of managed forest, so if you're interested in forestry, you're interested in a concentration in sustainable ag, we've got a real operating facility here. This isn't a petting zoo. This is a fully operational farm of about 320 acres of bottomland. And we run 60 plus cows across it.
Our educational program includes not only a strong academic program, which is obviously the core, our liberal arts, but it also includes work on campus for all students, and it includes engagement in the community for all students.
In a circle, so no one should be in a...
And Triad might conjure up an image of three distinct pieces, but actually it's a much more integrated whole, which is part of why we're talking more about applied learning.
I'm teaching environmental law, and I have 2 students in there who've been on recycling crew for multiple years. And at recycling crew, they do a range of things, including dealing with spill prevention, which is a regulated area. So I know they have that knowledge set and that experience. So when I'm teaching those topics from the vantage of the law, I can draw on that experience.
Part of our program responds to some of the criticisms that are being leveled against liberal arts institutions right now of saying, you know, are we too much pie in the sky? Are we really preparing students for the world that they're going into? And so in part, we feel like our educational program is an answer to that.
There are 95 work crews, okay, and that can go from 1 person to 47 individuals on it, you know, and there's about 800 students that are assigned throughout those crews. The students take on many responsibilities that other institutions would be third-party vendors or professionals doing it all the time. Where here the student is an important labor component, but labor and learning.
I can't see you.
Some people think that the work and the work crews are a little like sororities and fraternities, that they are places where people connect. This is like a small town that we kind of manage.
Thank you much.
We started in 1894 as the Farm School for Boys, and that was that boys would work in exchange for their tuition. It used to be a really kind of transactional thing. You know, students would work in exchange for part of their tuition, and now our work is very much a part of our educational program. There's very much a sense of students' passion around what they do. They're very engaged on campus, in part because not only are they in the classroom, but they're also in the workplace. So what I see here is a real sort of can-do attitude.
This is Herb Crew. It's a sub-crew of Garden. How often do you go and sell someone something when you're 20 years old? I think the coolest thing has been budgeting and learning how to price out vessels and price out products that we make, because we create our own products. You have to figure out where to get the ingredients, have them sustainable but also affordable.
Far from home, and I get a place to relax and just kind of put my head down and work with material that I love to work with. It has nothing to do with my major. What other school could you go to work and learn how to make dovetails and cameras and Windsor chairs? It's just such a beautiful place to go and just unwind from the stress of school.
I think all the crews are enhanced by people bringing different ways of thinking about things, because critical thinking means critically understanding how things happen. If you just got ag students sitting around a table, you'll get an ag solution to it. You start to have ethicists around the table and philosophy majors, and you start talking about, well, we could get a lot more pigs in here if we stacked them side by side, by this square area. And what does that mean? And then that conversation can then take on what I would consider a great liberal arts conversation about, okay, what's okay and what's our value in doing this?
Everything is a classroom. It's not just a matter of a product that we're just hauling out of here. It's a product that's going to go back into the soil and become part of the nutrient cycle. And this is definitely a classroom. We can give these students the experience, but unless you put it in context of why, and unless you get the students to reflect on the questions that come from it, or just reflect on what they've just done, then it's just experience. We want to turn experience into education, and that's with reflection and with questions that need some answers to them.